It's the Win City Podcast. We're back. And guess what? Episode
We're
10.
back.
Episode 10. Double dig. Listen, we've had like 4 different iterations of a show that me and you have done over the years. Years with an S, if you could believe that. And I don't think we've gotten past 10.
I would
So
say
this-
not past 6.
Yeah, I was sort of being generous. But here's the deal. It's the 10th episode. And it's going to be the first of many. You know why? Well, it's not the first of many. It's going to be the 10th of many. You know why that is?
I know why.
Why? Go ahead. Explain.
Home sweet home. You graduated from college and you're ready to rock.
Never again will you see this guy submit an assignment and not get paid for it. Listen, if I have to do work at home, you better be putting dollars in my bank account because this guy
Love it.
is a college graduate. Boy, have I been throwing around that I've graduated college. If somebody asks me, hey, do you know this thing? And I answer them, I say, you know why that is? College graduate. So, yeah, that's
Amazing
exciting.
job.
Amazing job by me. Barely got there, but we got there. And
You know what's crazy?
what's crazy?
Met you 4 years ago.
I met this guy at college playing basketball. I saw him take a 60-footer and make it. And I was like, that guy is kind of sucks, but let's see what he's about. And
That's 100% true story.
here we are, episode 10 of the Win City Podcast, episode probably 46 of me and you doing something. And yeah, listen, the draft happened and trades happened and then the contract extensions were made, and we'll get into all of that. The reason we didn't hop into that when it happened is, like I said, or like he said, for me, I was graduating college, so I had a lot going on. But I'm officially back home. I'm on my purple love seat, as I like to call it. And you just got out of the gym. How was the gym?
It was good. Not crowded. Quick workout.
Isn't that the best when you go at like 1 a.m. and there's just nobody there?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I can do whatever I want.
Right. Okay, listen. Where do we go? Do we go Lamar, Aaron? Do we go draft? Should we just do the draft first? Because it's
Do draft.
okay. Do draft.
Do the draft.
The draft has been done. It's been done for a while. A lot of stuff happened. Let's just talk about this right off the rip.
Gotcha.
I had I made a big accusation about the Houston Texans.
I knew this was coming. Yes.
I said that they were not taking C.J. Stroud, and that all the reports coming out about them scouting Will Anderson out the wazoo were true and confirmed from stuff that I had heard upwards of 3 months ago. And of course you sit on that information because you're like, there's no way that's true. And then what happens? They draft C.J. Stroud. But here's the thing. What nobody saw coming was them trading up to 3 to draft Will Anderson, which is essentially what was being reported. They all let it loose in Houston that we're taking Will Anderson, which is what they did. What they didn't tell anybody is that they're going to take him at 3 when they trade up. So it was a nice little, they zagged when everyone else thought they were going to zig. D'Amico Ryan's first-year head coach, and their GM's been there a couple of years. Thoughts on the move up? Thoughts on me being wrong? Just thoughts in general.
No, you were like, it was like a right-wrong situation. You were right, but it didn't happen at 2.
Yeah.
The question I would say or ask is, was it worth moving up to the 3 pick after you had the 2?
Right, because well, listen, Will Anderson is the consensus best defensive player in the draft. There was people saying that Jalen Carter was technically the most talented, but there was some off the field stuff with him, which is why he fell to the Eagles. And we'll get to the Eagles in a second here. But here's the thing. I do think it's worth it because if you hit on one of these guys. The odds of you hitting on one of these guys, and by hitting I mean this guy will play in the eventual Pro Bowl, Will Anderson or C.J. Stroud. You just
Is
doubled your odds of
likely.
getting at least one decent player.
Yeah, that is
And they
true.
didn't give up a first next year. Or did they? Yeah, they did. No, they did, but they had
No,
two. They had two because of the
I
Deshaun
don't think
Watson
they gave
trade.
up a first next year.
No, they did. They gave up a first next year. But they had two because
Let me
they had
look it up.
one. They had their own, and then they had the Deshaun Watson one. So they were playing with house money from the beginning, and like I said, they doubled their odds of getting the blue chipper. Are you looking up to make sure that they
Hmm.
actually did give away? Okay.
Because I thought they had the 2 pick and the 12 pick, and I thought they swapped the 2 and the 12. Or am I thinking of a different team?
Well, no, they traded with the Cardinals, and they used their second pick, and then they traded up to get the third pick. So they still made 2 first-round picks this year, which means that one of their first next year will be gone. It'll be an Arizona Cardinal pick. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. So that Deshaun Watson trade is looking better and better for Houston.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep.
Um,
They traded or they swapped picks, 12 and 3, pick 33 of the same draft,
yeah,
and 2024 first round pick.
right. So they
The
swapped in
Cardinals
the second.
traded pick 3 and pick 105.
Okay, so they swapped in the second, and they got a third, and they gave up a first next year, but they still have a first.
Next year.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I do think it was worth it if they thought Will Anderson was that much better than Tyree Wilson, Las Vegas Raiders shout out, we'll get there, or Jalen Carter. And yeah, listen, here's what it comes down to. If CJ Stroud is good, no one's going to care that they traded up for Will Anderson if he's not good.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I mean, how bad could he be compared to all the other quarterbacks they ever got in the last like 15
Right,
years
exactly.
besides Watson?
Right. I mean, Matt Schaub was decent, but besides that, it's been, not great. And they haven't even been a franchise that long for it to really count. Here's a little trivia for you. Who was the first ever draft pick by the Houston Texans?
I have no idea. Give me a hint.
He's related to a current NFL football player.
That's a good hint.
Fantastic hint by me. Not too obvious, but just interesting enough.
What year? I have no idea. I think it was like
I believe it was the
2000?
year 2000. I could be wrong about that. You know of his brother very well.
Who is it?
David Carr. Yeah. Yeah. It's if you ever turn on NFL Network, they go like Hall of Famer so and so and Hall of Famer blah 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 and first pick in the draft David Carr. That's the only thing they could say about him. I mean, he did win the Super Bowl with the Giants in 2008, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know why we're talking about David Carr. Listen, the Texans, they did their thing. They wheeled and dealed. I did not get wrong information, but I didn't necessarily get accurate information either.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me thinks that they were considering taking a quarterback at 2 that wasn't Stroud. Part of me thinks that they tried to trade back from 2. Or no, that doesn't make sense because they would have just taken Williams. I don't know. I think they just hoodwinked everybody, and they were going to take Stroud the whole time, and that's kind of where I am on that.
I'm really shocked that they actually did that and like traded up for it because they had the 12th pick, and I feel like they could have done a lot with it. They could have got Will Levis at 12. So
Right, they clearly, yeah. They obviously think that Will Anderson is worth hopping up to get, and like I said, it's a lot easier when you still have a first round pick next year. I don't know if they do that if they don't have a pick in 2024. But
yeah, I mean, it's not like pick 3 and 12. It's not that far apart. It's not like it was like 28 and 3. Like that's a huge difference. Like how much worse of a player are you really getting at 12 than you are at 3? It's just you're just taking high risk on always the best defensive player in the draft, and realistically, Carter was supposed to be or is, but with everything going on with him, he dropped.
Right. I bet you a part of it is they wanted to get guys who were squeaky clean off the field. Obviously with what happened with their quarterback, although you could say, well, Deshaun Watson was like that before they drafted him. But I think they did their due diligence on Jalen Carter and thought, let's go up to 3 and get the surefire bet instead of just going up to 9 with the Eagles and still getting Jalen Carter and
Yeah,
probably only giving up a second or a third next year. Speaking of the Eagles, I just want to bring this up a little bit because I've seen a lot of people say, oh my God, the Eagles, they got Jalen Carter and they got Nolan Smith, the two best players in the draft on defense, Georgia Bulldog East, blah, 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 and giving the Eagles all this credit. Okay, here's my question to you and to the audience at home.
listening.
Thank you so much. Do the Eagles get credit for just letting people, I don't want to say hoping, but it feels like hoping that the guy falls to them? Because they didn't move up to get these guys. Now, they had the 8th pick because of a trade they made with, I believe, the Saints. But my point is, like, everyone's like, God, Howie Roseman, he's wheeling and dealing out here. He didn't trade up to get these guys. They fell right in his lap. Do
Right.
the Eagles get credit for that?
Um, I mean, they picked the right guy at the moment, right? So I guess you could get credit for that.
Yeah, if you want to talk about
It's
the
not
value,
right. It's
sure,
not like
but
he was going Billy Bean over here and trading, wheeling and dealing all these. Oh, we're moving up here. We're trading this. It just perfectly landed on the Eagles pick, and that's the obvious pick at that point. And people are just like, skip, skip, skip. Eagles are up. Bang. Skip, skip, skip. Bang. Like, if they turn out how they are supposed to be and how they played in Georgia, they're literally going to win next year's Super Bowl or two Super Bowls in the next 4 years.
I mean, right now, are the Eagles just a lock
To win the
NFC
NFC East?
championship for the next? No, not the
Yes.
conference. Not the division.
You
Like
mean, yes.
they're a lock to play in that game for the next
Didn't
how
what
many
running
years?
back did they just get? Didn't they
DeAndre
just get a
Swift.
running back? Right.
So their off season is DeAndre Swift and Jalen Carter. That's his name, right? Jalen Carter
Yeah, I think
and
so.
Nolan Smith. Like it's they Jalen Hurts signed his deal. It's getting spooky in that conference.
Is this? Do
Because
you think? Do you think like this is going to be the next NBA with Eagles like Chiefs Super Bowls for like the next 3 years? Because why can't the Chiefs repeat or go back? And clearly the Eagles are better than they were last year, and NFC is so weak that they just be like win like throughout the conference. You know what I mean? Like, is this the next?
I struggle. The Chiefs feel like the Patriots, and what I mean by that is they're probably going to be in the AFC Championship for the on and off for the next 8-9 years, as long as Mahomes is there and healthy. Blah blah blah. I do think though the talent. Like you're comparing it to like the Cavaliers and the Warriors, right? When they went
Right.
back to back to back to back. The talent that LeBron went up against in the East was like DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. That was like, oh,
It's like
is this the year the Raptors? No, they're not gonna. So I think if you equate the Toronto Raptors to the Bills and the Bengals, those two teams in football are more talented in their sport than the Toronto Raptors were in basketball. So I could see just, oh, this is the year that the Bills went, or this is the year that the Bengals went. And we didn't even talk about the Jets. Lamar's still there. The Jaguars almost beat the Chiefs this year in the playoffs. So I understand what you're saying. I think the Eagles are going to go. I think they're going to go, and they're going to go almost every year. It's going to be ridiculous until until Bryce Young turns out to be the second coming or something like that. Or your boy Derek Carr, not my boy, your boy Derek Carr shows up in New Orleans and shocks the world.
Kills it.
So I do think the Eagles might become Warriors East, and the Chiefs are going to have the ability to go there every year. I just think that the competition is more difficult in the AFC than it was for LeBron in the Eastern Conference.
No, I 100% agree with that statement. And football is harder than basketball for sure about like going to the finals or Super Bowl, whatever, because it's one game, you can have a bad game, you lose. And teams are better in the AFC. Like the AFC is stacked. But it's not like those two teams aren't going anywhere. So that's like kind of what I was getting at. But I think that would hurt football more than it will help it. And the NFC, like they lost Brady, lost Rodgers, technically lost Stafford.
Forgot about Stafford.
Wilson went to Denver last year. Jimmy G's now in the West. Like they literally lost the top 5 quarterbacks besides one guy, and that's Jalen Hurts.
I mean, yeah, the wild card in all this is Brock Purdy. Like, if Brock Purdy is actually good, then the 49ers will also be right there.
Yeah, for sure.
If he takes a step back, then they're going to be looking for a new quarterback. Unless Trey Lance, I don't know. That whole thing is a disaster.
Crazy.
So we talked about the Texans. I don't know winners and losers. I think that's the dumbest topic of all time. I have winners and losers on my board here to talk about, but not to say who's the winner of the draft and who's the loser of the draft. I think that's the dumbest thing of all time. It's
Me
a bunch
too.
of people. It's a bunch of people who don't work in scouting, telling us who they think won or lost the draft.
Yep.
And almost every time, it's depending on how many picks the teams had in the first round.
Yeah.
Who are the winners of the draft? The Texans and the Eagles. Guys, we all know. And the Seahawks, throw them in there. They had multiple first-round picks. Like, what? Yeah, like, they picked, like, the Seahawks took the corner from Illinois, who's pretty good, and Smith and Jigba. They did it. How they do it? They had 2 fit. Like, what are we doing? Why are we talking about winners and losers? I just wanted to bring that up to say it's stupid, and we're not doing it. And that's it.
It's honestly completely stupid because that's like a topic you talk about in like 5-6 years. Like
exactly. Like
the 2023 NFL draft in 2028. Not right now. How do we know? You won. Good job. You picked a guy. Everyone picked a guy. Like it's so
you know what
stupid.
it is? It should really be called "Who Picked the Guys I Would Have Picked." That's what the segment should be called, because it's like, if I liked Will Levis, I'm coming in here, tighten up. We won the draft. But if I hate him, then it's literally who matches your opinion the best. Which, listen, I know how the world works. That's all of sports media and whatever, and that's why here at the Win City Podcast we're different. Okay, because we I don't know where I'm going with that. I just hate that whole thing. Let's just get this out of the way right now. The Raiders had a normal draft. Oh, those words coming out of my mouth. It might as well be molasses. How sweet it is.
They didn't have a winning draft? They didn't win the draft?
Listen, you know what they did? I've been saying this. I might have said this to you. I might have said this on the show to you. All I wanted this year, okay, for Christmas in April, was for when Goodell says the Las Vegas Raiders select and says the name, as long as I didn't go, who? I was happy. I was happy.
You won.
And they won. The Raiders, maybe they didn't win the draft, but I won the draft. Because Tyree Wilson, a top 10 prospect. We had the 7th pick. Or what did we, the 7th pick? Yeah, 5, 6, 7. We had the 7th pick. We took a top 10 prospect. A guy on defense, which is what we needed. 2nd round, we traded up and took what a lot of analysts were saying was the best tight end in the draft, and Michael Mayer. So we got 2 guys who look like they're filling positions of need, and they're not reaches according to the people that know about as much as us. I'm happy. Are we contenders to win the Super Bowl? No, but we never are. So I'm okay.
Are you a playoff contender?
Oh, sure. I think, if Jimmy... Oop, I just kicked my camera. If James Garoppolo, ever heard of him? If he stays healthy, they could win 10, 11 games. Sure. Maybe 9. Maybe 9 gets you in. I mean, the AFC is the Wild Wild West. But
Really, though.
I don't see him staying healthy because he never does. And who's our backup? Brian Hoyer. We also drafted Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, the Boilermakers. Do I like him? Not really, but they say he has a quick release, and I think he broke Drew Brees' single game passing record, and that was a 4th-round pick.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Sneaky little player. Listen, Tom Brady was picked 199. This guy was picked 140 something or 30. I don't know. Math is hard. I'm a college graduate though, not in math. So I'm okay with what they did. I'm satisfied. I ate and I am now full. Did it taste particularly great? No. But did it suck? No. And it was a free meal. So I'm okay with it.
While we are on the draft topic, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our boy, Sean Clifford. He's a Green Bay Packer. 5th-round pick. Going to be a stud. And he took Rodgers.
Oh, my God.
Let's go.
You know what's funny? That was the 5th round.
5th. So
that was day 3. The one where it starts at noon. I think I had that on. And I looked up, and you know how in the late rounds they don't even show every pick, they just flash the names. I saw Sean Clifford, Green Bay Packers, and I thought I was dreaming. Listen, Sean Clifford, this is coming from a classmate. Not very good, okay? Wasn't great. Did we think he was going to get drafted? Absolutely not. However, Rose Bowl champion, played lights out, had the game of his life.
He did.
The game of his career was on the biggest stage of his life in the Rose Bowl. Strengths. Let's just get into Sean. You know what? Let's break down Sean Clifford for any Packers fans watching. Strengths of Sean Clifford.
Hold on. Was that his 2nd Rose Bowl?
No. God, no. The only other time we went there was with Trace.
Right. Okay.
And then before that was 2008. Darryl Clark. Mark Sanchez. Lost by 2 touchdowns. Anyway. Let's break down Sean Clifford for the Green Bay Packers fans. This will be a nice short for you Packers fans. Strengths. Cannon. He could wing it. I'll admit that. Mobile. He's sneaky athletic. Teammates love him. Can't deny that. I think I'm done with the strengths. Did I miss anything?
I mean, he is above average accuracy.
I will disagree heavy disagree on the accuracy.
I mean, he has better accuracy than most quarterbacks outside the 1st round that got drafted.
I think again I'm going to heavy disagree. I'm just sort of going through all the passes that he missed in his career.
Yeah, okay, then you're not going to think about all the good ones because you're like, oh, good.
That's correct. Listen, I just wanted to start Drew Aller this year, okay? And they lost. He lost the year of eligibility because they didn't start him. And he's going to be the 1st-round pick. He's going to be the 1st overall pick in 2026. So hopefully by then the Raiders tank.
Go through his weaknesses.
I would say he's inaccurate to push back on your strength. I would say he's inaccurate. I would say his decision making is a little sporadic, erratic.
Turnover rate's high.
High turnover rate. Got to protect that football. Our offensive line wasn't the best. And I think he's he's sneaky athletic, but he's not an above average athlete. I'll tell you what, I didn't expect to do a tight 5 on Sean Clifford, but I'm happy you brought that up because I did not write it down because I forgot it happened. Because it shouldn't have happened, to be clear. I'm pretty sure he got drafted over Max Duggan, who played in the national championship. Right? TCU?
Who?
The quarterback for TCU. Max Duggan?
I think you went in the 4th round. I know Stenton Bennett went like 20 picks before Clifford. Think about that.
Well, that's the Brock Purdy effect right there. Brock Purdy got Stenson Bennett drafted. I know the Saints drafted Jake Haener,
I'm
who was a
looking up.
Fresno State guy. So Dennis Allen only drafts Fresno State quarterbacks, which is hilarious. Shout out Derek Carr. I'm pretty
Wait,
sure
I
Sean
don't think
Clifford went before Max
he
Duggan.
didn't even get drafted.
Max Duggan?
Oh no, you're think USC quarterback is Caleb Williams.
What are you talking about? That's next year. TCU.
TCU. I'm thinking of USC. Wrong team.
Wow. This is not the show for you if you think Caleb Williams got drafted this year. Are you excited to start our, while you're looking that up, our fantasy football league? You know it's a keeper league this year.
Great.
It's a dynasty league.
Round 7.
7th. 2 rounds after Sean Clifford. Listen, I met Sean Clifford. I had multiple conversations with Cliff at the golf course. Love him. Sweetheart. But I'm not going to hold back, okay? I wanted the other guy to start. I'm happy for him. I hope he proves me wrong. Don't foresee him getting on the field ever because Jordan Love's going to start. That's a good topic that I didn't bring up. If Jordan Love, because we'll talk about Rodgers now. Rodgers gets traded to the
Jets.
Jets. If Jordan Love comes in and is really good, Pro Bowler, is it an undeniable fact that the quarterback you draft in the first round should sit a minimum 2 years? I mean, they're going to go from Favre to Rodgers to Love.
But
I actually think he's going to be good. I believe in that process.
Right. I was just going to say, is it a Green Bay like system or like?
Well, it's a different coach. It's not McCarthy.
But like the system of Green Bay between Favre and Rodgers and Love, like that's the quarterback. It's a quarterback system.
No, I don't. Yeah, I just think like there's evidence that shows if you sit and watch, you're more prepared to just have like look at Mahomes. It's the best quarterback in the league, not even close. He sat for a whole year and watched Alex Smith, a pro lead a team to the playoffs.
No, I agree with you, but I don't think Jordan Love's gonna be good.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say he's gonna be good. I'm gonna put a dollar on it.
Top half of the QB?
I think he's gonna get he will play into his second contract with the Packers, even though he technically is on his second because he signed an extension for 1 year. I think he's gonna get like a 5-year so-and-so deal.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be the guy. I don't know. Again, he doesn't have to change the world to win that division. Although the Lions are good, the Vikings are and the Bears are
Everyone's
went.
Pretty much.
Aaron Rodgers traded to the Jets. I'm gonna just yes or no.
Over under 1.5 years. Yeah. See, good question.
This is my Jets JTS. My answer. Also, if the pattern proceeds itself, he'll be on the Vikings next year.
Okay. Right. Exactly.
And Jordan Love will be on the Jets in 10 years. My answer is based on if they will win a lot of games. If they win a lot of games, over. So I'm going to say over because I think they're going to win a lot of games and make the playoffs.
So if they go like 8-8, like 9-8, 8 and 9,
he's out. Out. Goodbye, Vikings.
Out as retiring or out as?
No, he's going to retire. He'll retire. He'll retire. But I think they're going to win like 11 games and make the playoffs.
Yeah, me too.
I think the Dolphins will be out and the Jets will replace them. I think the Jets are going to be really good. I don't think they're going to win their division. I think that's the Bills' division to win for the next 15 years.
That's close.
It is close, though. I think if the running back comes back and is healthy, they're rocking and rolling. Sauce Gardner's sick.
Breece Hall,
yeah. Garrett Wilson, the other guy that runs around.
Is this the best defense Aaron Rodgers will ever have in his career?
It's pretty dang close. I mean, the Clay Matthews years were okay. I mean, there was a year he played with Charles Woodson, and they won the Super Bowl. It's probably in his top 3 defenses he's ever played with, which is kind of sad to think about.
Yep.
And as far as weapons are concerned, it's up there too. Like there's no Devontae's on this team, but it could be the best running back he's ever handed the ball off to. Aaron Jones is decent, but Breece Hall looks sick as a rookie. It's only been 1 year.
Eddie Lacy was pretty good.
Yeah, and then he got fat.
Yeah. Right. Can Rodgers win another MVP?
Sure. If the Jets make the playoffs, I would say it's likely. You kidding me?
Over Jalen Hurts, probably. Right.
Oh boy, we're early MVP talk here. Well, let's see. Yeah, you got
just quick answer. Yeah, right.
You asked me if he's gonna have a better year than Jalen Hurts. No, Jalen Hurts gonna have a better year.
So then Rodgers won't win MVP.
No, but it's the narrative. It's like this guy went to the Jets. He just learned the system. Well, it's the same offensive coordinator from before, but it's just gonna be like he willed the Jets to the playoffs in the toughest AFC's ever been, and they haven't made the playoffs. I
hope they do well.
I do too. I like Aaron, and I I don't hate. Why would you hate the Jets? The Jets are never anything. So
yeah,
no offense to the Jets. The Raiders are never anything either. But yeah, might throw $1 on him to win MVP. Would be a spicy little bet there.
Did you ever take anything from the Masters, the dollar bets?
Yeah, I think the closest guy I had was, oh gosh, I can't remember. I had a guy in the mix. I didn't take Rom. I didn't take Koepka. I didn't take the guys. Phil. That was insane. I checked my phone right now, but I'm using it to record the thing. I had somebody in the mix. Oh, Victor Hovland. I had like.
He was like day 1, day 2. He's up there, right?
Well, day 2 he kind of faltered, and then they had to do the thing where they did day 3 and day 4 on Sunday. And he had like 6 birdies his first round, and then fell apart on the second time around. But he was in the mix, and that would have won me a lot of money. But he didn't win. I was happy for John Rahm. I'm anti-live, so thank you, but no thanks, Brooks. Go back to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, that's personal. Lamar Jackson signed a new deal. We said, I'm pretty sure we were like, he's not going to play. He's going to get traded. And he just signed a deal because this is the NFL. And people don't get traded. Stars don't get traded. And
maybe you're right.
I'm pretty sure. I just watched our short before doing this about how we talk about that with Deebo Samuel. I'm pretty sure we both said we want him to be on the Ravens next year because that's what makes sports fun, is like when you have somebody. Take Derek Carr, for example. He wasn't that great with us, but I was heartbroken when he got traded because he was the Raiders. When you have people that are staples in your franchise, and Lamar can now be that for the Ravens for the foreseeable future, it's just more fun and it's easy to root for these guys when you are fans of those teams. Like, when I say, like, Kansas City Chiefs, what's in your head? Patrick Mahomes, right? Travis Kelce, bang. If I say New England Patriots.
More how they beat the Raiders every year, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes works too. New England Patriots, 7 Super Bowl rings.
Tom Brady, right? Rob Gronkowski. Like, there's just guys that come in your head. If you do the NBA, if I say Milwaukee Bucks, you say
they just fired their head coach.
Giannis. Thanks for playing. So, point being, it's more fun to root for people when your fan base has people to latch on to and say, this guy's mine. This guy's a Baltimore Raven. Did he get the most money? Right? He got like 225, 170 guaranteed. At a certain point, you're like, who cares if it's all guaranteed? It's $170 million just wired into your bank account. I digress. Are you happy for the guy?
Very happy for him. And when that happened, you know what I was sort of thinking, which is like, I don't think we ever touched base about or like touched upon.
What's that?
Was he waiting it out? Was he waiting it out to be the highest paid quarterback? Because listen, if he got an early deal like mid-March, then Jalen Hurts, he would have requested more money than him, and now he would have been the highest paid quarterback. Because like Jalen Hurts was the highest paid quarterback for like 2 weeks, and then Lamar got a deal. Was he waiting that out?
Oh, absolutely. That always happens. I'm pretty sure at one point Derek Carr was the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm saying that's what Lamar wanted.
Right. He wanted something. He wanted either the fully guaranteed contract or to be highest paid.
Highest paid, and
I'm pretty sure Mahomes, who, if you didn't know, is already signed on the dotted line for 10 years with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wait, has it been 2 years already?
I think so. Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's trying to sign again. He's signing a different contract, even though he already has the 10-year, $500 million or whatever it is, to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. So it does matter to these guys, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you going through all this nonsense to sign another?
I mean,
contract?
more Mahomes, so he has 2 Super Bowls already. He has a long-term contract, making probably like $40 million a year, whatever. Why does it matter to you that you're highest paid? Because it's gonna last at most a year, like literally at most a year, and then next year someone's the highest paid. Like Jalen Hurts is the highest paid for 2 weeks. Now you think 2 years later, or now he's like, oh, I want a new deal. Like that's crazy to think about. How
yeah. I mean, it's a legacy thing. It's just to say that you did it. I get it. If my contract was up and I was in that realm, I'd say just give me $1 more than the guy, so I could say I was the highest paid at one point. Just give me $1. You tell me you wouldn't do that?
No. Because look at Brady. Do you think was he ever the highest paid quarterback in the league?
Absolutely but his wife was the highest paid model in the league.
I don't care who has more rings. Who won?
Him or his wife? Probably his wife. Yeah. Oh boy.
That's great.
That is great. Anyway.
But that's my point.
I understand what you're saying. I think I'm done. Thank you for not bringing up the Pirates.
I'm saving that for later.
Well, you could save it for never because we're not talking about it. And then
2-8 in the last 10.
NBA playoffs are happening. Don't tell me who won that Denver game. I don't know, and I'm gonna go watch it. Don't. I said don't tell me. Was there a connection issue? I said do not tell me. So, go Nuggets. I'm rooting for the Heat to win it all. I'm rooting for the Celtics to lose fast and furious. So Jaylen Brown says, I want out. And Danny Ainge goes, hello, former team. I have 17 first-round picks.
When you think of the Knicks, what do you think of?
Spike Lee. We'll see you next week.